A profound shift is underway. It's not just another tech trend or a fleeting buzzword. We are in the early days of a technological tsunami. Its name is generative artificial intelligence. This wave is poised to reshape every industry, every company, every job function in ways we are only just beginning to comprehend. For decades, we've talked about AI in abstract, futuristic terms, but now, it's here, it's accessible, and it's powerful. Generative AI, fueled by massive datasets and sophisticated algorithms known as large language models or LLMs, is no longer confined to the research labs of Silicon Valley. It's on our desktops, in our phones, and rapidly integrating into the core tools we use to run our businesses every single day. This isn't just about automating repetitive tasks or making incremental improvements to existing processes. That was the AI of yesterday. Today's generative AI is about creation, ideation, and augmentation. It can write code, design marketing campaigns, draft legal documents, and analyze complex financial data with startling proficiency. It acts as a co-pilot, a creative partner, and a tireless analyst all at once. The implications are staggering. Companies that harness this power will gain an almost unfair advantage, accelerating innovation cycles, deepening customer insights, unlocking efficiencies that were previously unimaginable. The speed of this transformation is what makes it so different. It's not a slow-moving glacier, it's a flash flood. The core of this revolution lies in the ability of these systems to understand and generate human-like text, images, and even video. Think of it as a universal translator not just for languages, but for ideas. You can describe a complex business problem in plain English, and an LLM can help you brainstorm solutions, model different scenarios, and even draft the initial project plan. This democratizes access to high-level strategic thinking and sophisticated analysis. It lowers the barrier to entry for entrepreneurs and empowers individual employees to punch far above their weight. The very fabric of how work gets done is being rewoven, moving from a model of individual execution to one of human-AI collaboration. For business leaders and managers, this isn't a topic to delegate to the IT department. It's a fundamental strategic imperative. Understanding generative AI is now as critical as understanding a balance sheet or a marketing funnel. Ignoring it is not an option. It's a decision to become obsolete. The companies that will win in the next decade are the ones whose leaders are asking the right questions right now. How can we integrate this technology into our operations? What new products and services can we create? How do we retrain our workforce to thrive in this new environment? This isn't just about survival, it's about seizing the single greatest opportunity for value creation in a generation. If generative AI is the tsunami, then business schools are the coastline communities that need to prepare for its impact. The traditional MBA curriculum, long the gold standard for leadership development, is facing its most significant challenge yet. The skills that defined a successful manager for the past 50 years, data analysis, strategic frameworks, financial modeling, are precisely the tasks that AI can now perform with incredible speed and accuracy. This doesn't render the MBA obsolete, far from it, but it does demand a radical and urgent evolution in what is taught and how it is taught. The value of an MBA is no longer just in knowing the answers, but in knowing what questions to ask the AI. The modern MBA student must become a master of prompting, an orchestrator of AI-powered insights, a discerning editor of machine-generated content. The new core competencies are critical thinking, strategic curiosity, ethical oversight. You need to be able to frame a business problem in a way that an LLM can understand and solve. You need the business acumen to evaluate the AI's output, spot its biases, and identify its hallucinations. And most importantly, you need the leadership skills to guide teams of people who are working alongside these powerful new tools. An MBA program that isn't actively integrating generative AI into every single course is failing its students. It's like a medical school not teaching its students how to use an MRI machine. This essay is your 20-minute MBA masterclass on this new reality. We're not going to get lost in the weeds of complex code or abstract theory. Instead, we'll provide a clear, practical, and business-focused guide to what generative AI is, how it works, and why it matters to you as a current or aspiring business leader. We will demystify the technology. We will then explore its real-world applications across every major business function: marketing, finance, operations, leadership, providing concrete examples of how you can use these tools to make better decisions and drive real results. Our goal is to equip you with the foundational knowledge and strategic mindset. We'll look at how leading companies and business schools are already leveraging these technologies, and we'll confront the challenges. By the end, you won't be an AI engineer, but you will be an AI-savvy leader. You will understand the opportunities, recognize the risks, and have a clear framework for how to put generative AI to work for you and your organization. The future of business is being written in real time by this technology. It's time to pick up the pen and start writing your chapter. So, what exactly is this generative AI we keep talking about? Let's cut through the jargon. At its core, generative AI creates something entirely new. It generates content, text, images, music, code, complex business strategies. Think of it not as a calculator but as a creative engine. You provide a spark of an idea, a prompt, a question, a description, and it builds a fire. It's the difference. Identify a cat in a photo versus create a photorealistic cat in a tiny business suit in a boardroom. This ability stems from training on massive data, vast swaths of the internet, entire libraries of books, millions of images, endless lines of code. The AI learns patterns, structures, relationships, nuances. It learns a sonnet, a Python script, a persuasive marketing email. It doesn't understand like humans do. Instead, it's a pattern matching and prediction machine. When you ask it to write, it guesses the next word based on trillions of examples. This departs from traditional software. Computers used explicit instructions for decades. Programmers had to code every action. If an instruction was missing, the computer couldn't do it. Generative AI works differently. You don't write rigid if-then rules. You train it. You guide it. You converse with it. That makes the human-machine relationship flexible and dynamic. Less a taskmaster, more a director, guiding a talented, fast, sometimes naive actor to a brilliant performance. For business, the scope of automation has exploded. Before, routine, predictable tasks only. Now, augment or automate creative and expert tasks. Drafting reports, brainstorming product names, creating social media content, generating initial drafts of legal contracts. The machine participates in the creative and intellectual process. It's a force multiplier for knowledge work, letting one person generate and test ideas at impossible scale and speed, the new power tool for the modern manager. The engine driving the most prominent form of generative AI is the large language model, or LLM. Names like GPT-5, Llama, Gemini. The large part is no joke. It refers to two things: the immense size of the model itself, billions, trillions of parameters, and the colossal amount of text data it was trained on. These parameters are like the connections in a human brain. The model learns to adjust them during its training process. It reads and processes text. It tries to predict the next word in a sentence. Every time it gets it right, it reinforces the connections that led to that success. Every time it gets it wrong, it adjusts. Imagine feeding a model the entire internet. It reads an article that says, the capital of France is... The first few million times it might guess A, the nice, but eventually, through trial and error across countless texts, it learns that the word Paris is the most probable next word. Now multiply this process by trillions of words and phrases. The model learns grammar, context, style, sentiment, and intricate relationships between concepts. It builds a complex statistical representation of human language and embedded knowledge. This predictive capability is what allows an LLM to hold a conversation, answer questions, generate coherent text. When you give it a prompt like, write a short summary of the challenges in the modern supply chain, it doesn't know about supply chains. Instead, it starts generating a response word by word. It calculates the most probable next word based on its training. It's like a form of super autocomplete. Because its statistical model is so vast and nuanced, it's a well-structured, relevant, and often insightful paragraph. This process is why LLMs can sometimes hallucinate or make things up. If the model's statistical patterns lead it down a path that seems probable but is factually incorrect, it has no built-in truth detector. This is a critical limitation for business users to understand. An LLM is a powerful tool for generating ideas, summarizing information, creating drafts. But it is not an infallible oracle of truth. The human user must remain in the loop to verify facts, apply critical judgment, and ensure the final output is accurate and aligned with reality. In this new world of generative AI, the most important skill is no longer coding, it's communicating. The quality of what you get out of an LLM is directly proportional to the quality of what you put in. This input is called a prompt. A prompt is more than just a question. It's a set of instructions that guides the AI toward the desired output. A weak prompt like, write about marketing will yield a generic high school level essay. A powerful prompt, however, can unlock a treasure trove of specific, actionable, and creative content. The art and science of crafting these instructions is called prompt engineering. It is a core competency for the AI-savvy manager. A great prompt provides 4 key elements: role, task, context, constraints. First, assign the AI a role. For example, act as a seasoned chief marketing officer with 20 years of experience in the consumer packaged goods industry. That focuses the model's response and tone. You're casting an expert for a specific job. It dramatically improves relevance and sophistication of the output. It primes the pump, ensuring the water you get is clean and from the right well. Next, define the task clearly. Don't be vague. Instead of write about marketing, specify the action. Draft a 3-paragraph marketing email. Then, provide crucial context. Who is the audience? Millennial consumers who are environmentally conscious. What is the goal? Announce our new line of sustainable packaging and drive traffic to the product webpage. The more detailed and specific the context, the more tailored and effective the final product will be. The AI doesn't know your business, you have to brief it, just like you would a new team member. Finally, set constraints and define the desired format. Keep the tone optimistic and inspiring. Use short sentences. Include a clear call to action at the end. The output should be no more than 150 words. Include 2 relevant emojis. These constraints act as guardrails, preventing the model from veering off topic or producing a response in an unusable format. Mastering this framework, role, task, context, constraints, transforms your interaction with AI from a frustrating game of chance into a predictable and powerful process of co-creation. It is the new language of management, the way leaders will instruct their digital workforce to execute complex tasks. Marketing has always been a blend of art and science, a mix of creative intuition and hard data. Generative AI is pouring rocket fuel on both sides of that equation. For the creative side, the possibilities are, honestly, mind-boggling. Marketers can now generate dozens of ad copy variations, social media posts, blog article drafts in the time it used to take to write one. You can feed the AI a product description and ask it to create 5 different campaign slogans, each targeting a different customer demographic. This isn't about replacing human creativity, it's about supercharging it. It allows marketing teams to escape the tyranny of the blank page and start with a rich set of ideas to refine and build upon, dramatically accelerating the creative process. On the science side, AI is revolutionizing personalization at scale. For years, the holy grail of marketing has been the segment of one, the ability to deliver a perfectly tailored message to every single customer. This was previously an operational nightmare. Now, an LLM can analyze a customer's purchase history, browsing behavior, and demographic data to generate a personalized email or product recommendation on the fly. It can draft sales scripts that dynamically adjust based on the prospect's industry and pain points. This level of customization builds deeper customer relationships and drives significantly higher conversion rates. It's moving from a megaphone shouting one message to everyone to a million tiny whispers, each one perfectly pitched to its audience. The sales function is also being fundamentally transformed. A salesperson can now walk into a meeting armed with an AI-generated briefing document summarizing the prospect's company, key executives, recent news, and potential needs. LLMs can analyze transcripts of sales calls to identify what top performers are doing differently, providing coaching insights to the entire team. They can draft follow-up emails, update the CRM system, and even help with tedious tasks like generating quotes and proposals. This frees up a salesperson's most valuable asset, their time. It allows them to spend less time on administrative work and more time doing what humans do best, building relationships, understanding nuanced customer problems, and closing deals. This creates a powerful, iterative loop of improvement. AI generates the marketing campaign, it analyzes the customer response data, it refines the messaging for the next campaign, it helps the sales team prepare for the call, it analyzes the call's effectiveness, it provides feedback to improve the next interaction. The entire go-to-market engine becomes smarter, faster, and more efficient with every cycle. For MBA students and marketing leaders, the new imperative is to become the architect of this AI-powered system. The job is no longer just about creating a single great campaign, but about building a machine that can generate thousands of great campaigns, learning and adapting in real time. If marketing is the voice of the company, operations is its central nervous system. It's the complex web of processes, logistics, supply chains that turn raw materials into finished products and deliver them to customers. For decades, this field has been about optimization, squeezing out every last drop of inefficiency. Generative AI is the biggest efficiency lever to be pulled in a generation. It can analyze vast, unstructured data sets from across the supply chain, shipping manifests, weather reports, supplier emails, sensor data, to identify risks and opportunities that would be invisible to a human analyst. It can see the faint signal in the noise that predicts a port shutdown or a supplier delay. Imagine a supply chain manager asking an AI, what is the biggest risk to our inventory levels in Southeast Asia over the next quarter? The AI could synthesize news reports, analyze meteorological data, and cross-reference shipping lane data to highlight a specific component. It could then suggest alternative suppliers, model the cost and time implications, and even draft the initial outreach emails. This transforms the role from reactive problem solver to proactive data-driven strategist, preventing fires instead of just fighting them. In manufacturing and process management, generative AI acts as a tireless consultant. It can analyze factory floor procedures and suggest optimizations to reduce waste or improve worker safety. It can help write clearer, more effective training manuals and standard operating procedures, even translating them into multiple languages for a global workforce. A factory manager could use a voice-enabled AI to simply ask, what was the root cause of the downtime on line 3 yesterday, and get a clear, concise summary synthesized from machine logs, maintenance reports, and operator notes. This immediate access to synthesized information empowers faster and more accurate decision-making right on the factory floor. The key shift is from analyzing structured data in spreadsheets to interpreting messy, real-world information. The supply chain doesn't run on clean numbers alone, it runs on contracts written in legalese, emails negotiating terms, and news articles describing geopolitical events. LLMs are uniquely capable of understanding and processing this unstructured text data. For the operations manager, this means having a co-pilot that can read and understand everything, providing a holistic view of the entire operational landscape. The job becomes less about manually connecting the dots, and more about using the AI-generated map to navigate the business toward greater resilience and efficiency. The world of finance and corporate strategy has long been the domain of the spreadsheet wizard, PowerPoint guru. These were the tools we used to model the future and communicate our plans. Now, generative AI is poised to become the most powerful tool in the finance and strategy toolkit since the invention of Excel. It acts as an army of junior analysts, available around the clock, ready to process information and generate insights at inhuman speed. A CFO or strategy executive can now ask complex questions in plain English and receive sophisticated analysis in just seconds. For instance, you could say, summarize the key themes from the last 5 earnings calls of our top 3 competitors and identify their strategic weaknesses. This capability radically accelerates the pace of financial analysis. Instead of spending days gathering data and building models, a financial analyst can use a large language model to instantly pull and synthesize information. The AI can draft the initial commentary, create pro forma financial statements, run scenario analyses. This frees up the human analyst to focus on higher value tasks, interpreting the results, applying business judgment, developing the strategic narrative that will persuade stakeholders. For corporate strategy, generative AI is a powerful brainstorming partner. It can help teams think through complex problems using established business frameworks. For example, Porter's 5 Forces framework analyzed the competitive landscape, entering the electric scooter market in Europe. The AI would provide a structured, detailed analysis, forcing the team to consider threats, opportunities, competitive dynamics they might have otherwise missed. It can generate SWOT analyses, draft initial business cases for new ventures, simulate wargaming scenarios to test a strategy against potential competitive responses. It democratizes access to strategic thinking tools that were once the exclusive purview of elite consulting firms. But this doesn't mean the AI is running the company. Far from it. The human leader's role becomes even more critical. The AI may generate 10 potential strategic options, but it lacks the real-world context and ethical judgment to know which one is best. The leader must evaluate the AI's output, question its assumptions, and make the final call based on the company's values, risk appetite, and long-term vision. The AI provides the what, a universe of data-driven possibilities. The human leader provides the why, the purpose and wisdom to choose the right path. It's a partnership that elevates the role of the strategist from data cruncher to decision architect. Leadership and human resources are fundamentally about people, motivating them, developing them, organizing them effectively. It might seem like the last place for a non-human intelligence to play a role, but generative AI is emerging as a powerful tool to augment, not replace, the human touch. For leaders, one of the biggest challenges is communication. AI can help craft clearer communications, AI can help craft more empathetic communications, AI can help craft more impactful communications. It can help a CEO draft a company-wide memo, ensuring the tone is just right. It can help a manager prepare for a difficult performance review, suggesting talking points and framing feedback constructively. In the HR function, AI is streamlining processes that were manual and time-consuming. It can write detailed and inclusive job descriptions, reducing bias, attracting a wider pool of candidates. It can screen resumes by understanding the context and experience described. It can generate initial drafts of employee handbooks, training materials, internal policies, which HR professionals can then review and refine. This automation of administrative work allows HR teams to pivot from being process managers to becoming true strategic partners, focusing on culture, employee development, organizational design. One of the most exciting applications is in leadership development and employee training. Generative AI can create personalized learning paths for every employee. It can act as a role-playing partner, allowing a new manager to practice difficult conversations in a safe, simulated environment. An employee could ask the AI, "I want to improve my project management skills. Create a 30-day learning plan for me, including articles to read, videos to watch, and a small project to complete." This provides individualized coaching and development previously only available to senior executives, democratizing professional growth across the entire organization. Ultimately, the goal is to use AI to make work more human, not less. By handling the repetitive aspects of management and HR, handling the data-heavy aspects and handling administrative aspects, generative AI frees up leaders' time and cognitive bandwidth. They can spend less time wrestling with spreadsheets, less time drafting emails, and more time mentoring their teams, walking the floor, listening to employee concerns, and thinking strategically about the future. The technology becomes a background support system that empowers leaders to focus on the things that truly require human intelligence, empathy, and connection. It's about augmenting our ability to lead, not outsourcing it. The MBA classroom, a place traditionally defined by Socratic debate and static case studies, is undergoing a seismic shift. Generative AI is not just a new topic on the syllabus, it is becoming a fundamental tool for learning, kind of like the calculator or the spreadsheet. Forward-thinking business schools are rapidly integrating AI into the very fabric of their pedagogy. Instead of just reading about a business challenge in a 20-page PDF, students are now using AI to actively engage with it. They can prompt a large language model to act as the CEO of the company in the case study, allowing them to ask questions and get dynamic responses. This transforms a passive reading exercise into an active, simulated consulting project, making the learning experience far more immersive and practical. This integration forces a re-evaluation of what is being taught. The focus is shifting from memorization of frameworks to the application of judgment. An AI can recite Porter's 5 forces perfectly, but it can't tell you which force matters most for a specific startup in a niche market. That requires human insight. So, assignments are changing. A marketing professor might now ask students to use an AI to generate 10 different social media campaigns for a new product, but the student's grade will depend on their critique of the AI's output, their selection of the best option, and their justification for why it will succeed. The new skill is not creation from scratch, but curation, refinement, and strategic direction of AI-generated content. Furthermore, AI is democratizing access to specialized skills within the diverse MBA cohort. A student with a background in poetry who struggles with financial modeling can now use an AI co-pilot to help build the initial structure of a discounted cash flow analysis. This doesn't mean they don't need to understand the financial concepts. On the contrary, they must understand the concepts well enough to prompt the AI correctly and critically to interpret and validate the output. It levels the playing field, allowing students to focus on the strategic implications of the numbers rather than getting bogged down in the mechanics of the formula. It helps bridge the gap between qualitative poets and quantitative quants, fostering a more holistic business education for everyone. The role of the professor is also evolving from the sage on the stage to the guide on the side. The professor is no longer the sole source of knowledge. Their value lies in teaching students how to think critically. They design prompts that push the boundaries, they facilitate discussions about the ethical implications, and they teach students to spot the subtle biases and potential hallucinations in the AI's answers. The classroom becomes a laboratory for human-AI collaboration, preparing students for a workplace where navigating this partnership will be a non-negotiable skill for success. To see this transformation in action, look no further than the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania. In a bold and decisive move, Wharton became one of the first major business schools to provide every one of its MBA students with a premium, enterprise-grade account for OpenAI's ChatGPT. This wasn't just a symbolic gesture, it was a clear declaration that proficiency in generative AI is now considered a core competency for a Wharton graduate. The school recognized that to lead in the future, its students must be fluent. They aren't just talking about AI, they are putting it directly into the hands of every student. This initiative, led by Professor Christian Terwiesch, has turned the entire MBA program into a living laboratory. He authored one of the earliest and most cited papers on the subject, Would ChatGPT-3 Get a Wharton MBA?, which found the AI could pass a final exam in a core operations management course. This wasn't a signal that professors were obsolete, but a wake-up call that the nature of assessment had to change. Now, professors are actively encouraging the use of AI for everything from brainstorming initial ideas for an essay to debugging code in a data analytics class. The focus is on teaching students how to use the tool responsibly. The applications are concrete and varied. In a negotiations class, students use AI to simulate a bargaining session. In an entrepreneurship course, students use AI to generate business plans, conduct market research, create pitch decks for their startup ideas. This allows them to iterate on their concepts at a speed that was previously unimaginable, testing more ideas and refining their strategies more thoroughly. The AI acts as an infinitely patient research assistant and an ever-available brainstorming partner, enabling a deeper and more ambitious level of project work than was possible before. Wharton's bet is a signal to the rest of the academic and corporate world. They are not treating AI as a niche topic. They are treating it as a foundational tool, as essential to a modern business education as finance marketing. By ensuring every student graduates with hands-on experience, Wharton is redefining the value proposition of an MBA. They are producing a new generation of leaders who are not intimidated by AI, but are empowered by it, ready to step into companies and immediately leverage these tools to create value and drive innovation from day one. The corporate world isn't waiting for MBA graduates to show them the way. It's charging ahead with its own AI experiments and deployments. Companies across every sector are racing to integrate generative AI into core operations. The initial applications focus on internal efficiency and productivity. Global consulting firms like Boston Consulting Group, professional services giants like PwC, have armed their consultants with proprietary AI tools. These platforms, often called co-pilots, can instantly summarize vast research documents, analyze client data, generate first drafts of PowerPoint presentations, draft reports, freeing up highly paid consultants to focus on client relationships and strategic insights. In customer service, generative AI powers a new generation of intelligent chatbots. These AI agents can understand nuanced customer queries, access a customer's history, provide detailed, helpful responses in a conversational tone. Companies like Klarna report their AI assistant handles the work of hundreds of full-time agents, resolving customer issues faster and with higher satisfaction rates. This doesn't just cut costs. It improves the customer experience with instant 24/7 support. The technology is becoming the first line of defense, handling the majority of inquiries, escalating only the most complex cases to human agents. Product development and engineering teams are seeing massive gains. Software developers use AI tools like GitHub Copilot to write code, debug code, document code more quickly. The AI suggests lines of code and entire functions in real time. Acting as a pair programmer that never gets tired, this accelerates development cycles, allowing companies to ship new features and products faster. In manufacturing and design, engineers use generative AI to create and test new product designs. Engineers specify constraints like weight, material strength, cost, and the AI generates thousands of potential design variations. many a human would never have conceived. Optimizing for performance, optimizing for efficiency. These deployments reveal a clear pattern. Companies apply AI to augment their workforce, making knowledge workers more productive. The goal is to amplify human capability, not replace it entirely. A lawyer at a top firm uses AI to speed up legal research, contract review, but legal judgment remains paramount. A marketer uses AI to brainstorm campaign ideas, but their creative intuition guides the final selection. The most successful early adopters viewed generative AI as a powerful new colleague, one that handles the heavy lifting of data processing, content generation, allowing human employees to focus on strategic tasks, creative tasks, interpersonal tasks where they add the most value. The rapid integration of generative AI into the workplace is creating a new paradigm, the AI-augmented workforce. This is not a future state concept, it is happening right now. It's not just a new tool, it's reshaping job descriptions, team structures, the definition of productivity. As routine cognitive tasks are automated, the value of uniquely human skills skyrockets. Critical thinking, emotional intelligence, complex problem solving. The most sought-after employees aren't the best memorizers. They're those who partner with AI to generate novel solutions and insights. New roles are emerging. Prompt engineer, crafting precise instructions for AI, translating business needs to AI capabilities. AI ethicist, AI auditor. These roles need technical understanding plus ethics, law, social science. Existing roles are being upskilled. Graphic designer, manual creation, using AI image generators for mock-ups, art direction and curation. Financial analyst, use AI to analyze huge datasets, move from data manipulation to interpreting AI-driven insights and building a compelling business case. Every knowledge worker, paralegal, project manager, must develop AI fluency. Leaders and MBAs face two challenges. First, cultivate these skills personally. AI as a productivity tool, AI as a strategic partner. Second, lead organizational reskilling. Invest in training programs, redesign workflows to incorporate AI, foster a culture of continuous learning and experimentation. The leaders who succeed will see this as opportunity, not threat, and will build smarter, faster, more innovative teams, unlocking a new level of human potential augmented by AI. For all their power, large language models have a fundamental problem. They often operate as black boxes. We can see the input we provide and the output we receive, but the complex process in between is incredibly opaque. The model's reasoning, if you can call it that, is buried within the mathematical weights of its billions of parameters. This lack of interpretability is a massive challenge for business. When an AI recommends a multi-million-dollar strategic pivot or denies a customer a loan, leaders need to know why. Without a clear audit trail for the AI's thinking, relying on its output for high-stakes decisions becomes a dangerous leap of faith. It's like taking advice from a brilliant but unexplainable consultant. This makes accountability nearly impossible when things go wrong. This black box nature gives rise to one of the most well-known and dangerous limitations of LLMs, hallucinations. This is when the AI confidently states something that is completely false. It's not lying in the human sense, it's simply generating text that is statistically probable based on its training data, but factually incorrect. It might invent academic sources, create fake historical events, misstate a company's financial data with absolute authority. For an MBA student using AI for research or a manager using it for a market analysis, these hallucinations are landmines. They can undermine reports, lead to disastrous decisions, and erode trust in the technology, if not caught. The need for constant human verification is not a suggestion. It is an absolute necessity. Another significant technical hurdle is the static nature of most models' knowledge. An LLM is a snapshot in time. It knows what it was trained on, and its knowledge cutoff is the end of its training data. A model trained up to early 2023 has no idea about major market events, new competitors, regulatory changes that have occurred since then. While some newer systems can access the live internet, this also introduces new risks of pulling in unreliable or biased real-time information. This means that for any analysis that requires up-to-the-minute data, the AI's base knowledge is inherently stale. A leader relying on it for a current market assessment might be basing their strategy on an outdated map of the world. Finally, there is the sheer cost and complexity of these models. Training a state-of-the-art LLM from scratch requires immense computational power, costing hundreds of millions of dollars, consuming energy equivalent to a small city. This creates a significant barrier to entry, concentrating power in the hands of a few large tech corporations. For most companies, the only option is to use pre-trained models via an API. This introduces dependencies on third-party providers, data privacy and security concerns, limits ability to customize the model for specific proprietary business needs. The technical power is immense, but it is not yet a fully democratized or easily controlled resource for the average enterprise. Generative AI models are a reflection of the data they are trained on. Since that data is the internet, a vast and messy mirror of humanity, the models inevitably learn and can amplify our existing societal biases. If historical data shows certain demographics were less likely to be promoted to leadership, an AI trained on that data might replicate that bias when screening resumes, suggesting candidates for promotion. This isn't a malicious act by the AI, it is simply pattern recognition. The machine doesn't understand fairness or equality, it only understands statistical patterns in the data. This creates a serious risk of automated systems that perpetuate and scale discrimination. The issue of intellectual property and copyright is another ethical minefield. Generative AI is trained on billions of images, articles, pieces of code created by humans. Does an AI-generated image that mimics a living artist's style constitute copyright infringement? Who owns the output? The user who wrote the prompt, the company that built the AI, the creators whose work was used without consent? These are thorny legal and ethical questions regulators are just beginning to grapple with. For businesses using AI to generate content for marketing or product design, this uncertainty creates legal risk. Using AI-generated assets could expose a company to lawsuits and reputational damage. Furthermore, the potential for misuse of this technology is staggering. The same AI that can draft a marketing email can also create sophisticated phishing scams at massive scale. The same technology that can generate a realistic product mock-up can also produce convincing fake news or disinformation, eroding public trust and manipulating opinions. For businesses, the risk of impersonation and fraud has become much more severe. A bad actor could clone a CEO's voice and authorize a fraudulent wire transfer, or create a fake negative press release to tank a competitor's stock price. Ethical guardrails for development and deployment lag far behind capabilities. This places a heavy burden on business leaders and MBA graduates. It is no longer enough to ask, can we do this with AI? We must now ask, should we do this with AI? Leaders must champion responsible AI, establishing clear ethical guidelines. This involves creating processes to audit for bias, ensuring transparency in AI decision-making, and maintaining strict data privacy protocols. The MBA curriculum of the future must include a heavy dose of ethics, preparing leaders to navigate dilemmas where the right answer isn't in a spreadsheet, but in moral and societal consideration. Beyond the technical and ethical hurdles lies a more mundane but equally formidable obstacle: the practical challenge of implementation. Many companies are hitting an implementation wall. They have run a few exciting pilots and seen the potential of generative AI, but integrating it deeply and safely into core business processes is a monumental task. It requires more than just buying a software subscription. It demands a fundamental redesign of workflows, a significant investment in employee training, a robust data infrastructure that most companies simply do not have. The shiny demo is easy. The messy, large-scale deployment that actually drives business value is incredibly hard. A major barrier is the skills gap within the existing workforce. Most employees do not understand how these models work, what their limitations are, or how to use them effectively. Simply giving everyone access to an AI tool without proper training leads to misuse, frustration, and disappointing results. Organizations must invest in comprehensive education programs that teach not just the how of using AI, but also the why and the when. This includes training on prompt engineering, understanding how to spot hallucinations, and learning the ethical guidelines for responsible use. This reskilling effort is a massive, multi-year undertaking for any large organization. Data readiness is another critical roadblock. Generative AI is powerful, but it needs data to be useful in a specific business context. For an AI to help a company, it needs access to that company's customer records, sales figures, internal documents, and operational logs. In most organizations, this data is a chaotic mess. It's locked away in disconnected silos, stored in different formats, and often of poor quality. Before a company can truly leverage AI for custom insights, it must undertake the painful and expensive process of cleaning, organizing, and unifying its data into a coherent and accessible platform. For many, this foundational work is the biggest barrier of all. Finally, there is the challenge of organizational culture and resistance to change. The introduction of AI can be threatening to employees who fear their jobs will be automated. It challenges established hierarchies and ways of working. A manager who has built their career on a specific expertise may resist a tool that can replicate that expertise in seconds. Overcoming this resistance requires strong leadership, clear communication about the goals of AI integration, augmenting, not just replacing, and involving employees in the process of designing new AI-assisted workflows. Without buy-in from the people who will actually use the tools, even the most brilliant AI strategy is doomed to fail. Looking ahead, the trajectory of generative AI in business is clear. It's moving from being just a novel curiosity to becoming a fundamental utility, as essential as electricity or the internet. The future of knowledge work is the co-pilot economy. Nearly every professional role will be augmented by a specialized AI assistant. Imagine, a marketer with a brand co-pilot, a lawyer with a legal co-pilot, a surgeon with a diagnostic co-pilot. These AI partners will handle laborious tasks like data retrieval, synthesis, initial content generation that frees humans to operate at a higher strategic level. Early co-pilots are already here and getting rapidly more sophisticated. Business models will change profoundly. Companies can run leaner, more agile teams. The need for large armies of junior analysts and content creators will diminish, replaced by smaller teams of highly skilled experts using AI to multiply output. That lowers barriers for startups to compete with giants. For large corporations, the challenge will be to re-architect around human-AI teaming. Winners won't just bolt AI onto old processes. They'll rethink how work gets done, break down old silos, and create more dynamic workflows. This co-pilot model will also change the nature of value creation. Value will no longer come from simply having access to information, since AI will make information abundant and instantly accessible to everyone. Instead, value will be created through judgment, creativity, strategic insight. The premium will be on the ability to ask the right questions of the AI, to critically evaluate its output, to synthesize its insights with real-world business acumen, and to make wise decisions under uncertainty. The machine will provide the answers, but the human will provide the wisdom. The future belongs to those who can direct and orchestrate their AI co-pilots. These systems will grow more proactive and autonomous. Today we prompt the AI for every task. In the future, an AI might proactively alert a sales manager to a new opportunity by analyzing global news feeds and analyzing economic data. It might draft routine customer responses for approval. The relationship evolves from tool to genuine assistant that understands your role, anticipates your needs, and actively helps you achieve your goals. Navigate this future by embracing continuous adaptation. See AI as a powerful partner, not a threat. For MBA students and aspiring leaders, this new reality demands a significant evolution of the traditional business skill set. The skills that once guaranteed a successful career, mastery of Excel, the ability to build a perfect slide deck, deep knowledge of specific analytical frameworks, are now table stakes that can be replicated by an AI co-pilot in seconds. Relying on these skills alone is a recipe for obsolescence. The new, durable MBA skill set is less about being the best analyst in the room, and more about being the best architect of solutions. It's about being the human who can design the system, frame the problem, and guide the AI toward a valuable outcome. The first core skill is strategic questioning, or advanced prompt engineering. You must become an expert at talking to the machine. This means learning how to frame ambiguous business problems into specific, answerable queries that an AI can work on. It requires the ability to provide the right context, define the right constraints, and iterate on your prompts to refine the AI's output. This is not a technical skill, it's a strategic one. It's about knowing your business so well that you know exactly what to ask. A great leader in the AI age will be distinguished by the quality of their questions, not just the quality of their answers. The second critical skill is critical consumption and curation. You must develop a healthy skepticism and become a discerning editor of AI-generated content. This means being able to quickly spot potential biases, factual inaccuracies, hallucinations, and logical flaws in the AI's output. It requires the business acumen to know when an AI-generated strategy is brilliant and when it's dangerously naive. You are the final quality control checkpoint. Your value lies in your judgment, your experience, and your ethical compass. You must be the one to separate the signal from the noise, curating the AI's vast output into a single, coherent, and actionable plan. Finally, the most important skill is systems leadership. You need to be able to design and lead teams that are composed of both humans and AI agents. This involves redesigning workflows, reallocating tasks, and fostering a culture of effective human-AI collaboration. It means understanding which tasks are best suited for machines and which uniquely require human empathy, creativity, and relationship building. The MBA of the future is an organizational architect, designing the operating system for a company where humans and AI work in seamless partnership. This is the new frontier of management, and it is where the greatest leadership opportunities will be found. The AI wave is moving fast. Waiting on the shore is not an option. For every current and aspiring MBA, the time to act is now. You cannot be a passive observer, you must become an active participant. Your career trajectory depends on it. The first step is to commit to hands-on learning. Reading articles and watching videos is not enough. You must get your hands dirty. Sign up for the leading AI tools, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Midjourney, and start using them daily. Use them for your coursework. Use them for your personal projects. Use them for your professional tasks. The only way to truly understand the capabilities and limitations of these tools is through direct, frequent use. Next, you need to deliberately build your prompting muscle. Don't just ask simple questions. Practice the art of crafting sophisticated prompts. Assign the AI a role. Give it detailed context. Set clear constraints. Ask for specific formats. Create a personal prompt library, SWOT analysis, market research, email drafting, my AI action plan. Challenge the AI with complex, multi-step problems. See where it excels, see where it fails. This iterative practice will turn you from a novice user into a power user, capable of wielding these tools with precision and creativity. This is a skill, and like any skill, it requires deliberate practice to master. Third, become a student of the industry. The AI landscape is changing weekly. New models are released, new applications are discovered, new ethical debates emerge. You must stay informed. Follow the key researchers, follow the key companies, follow thought leaders, follow X and LinkedIn feeds. Subscribe to newsletters that curate the most important AI news. Make it a habit to spend 20 to 30 minutes each day catching up. This isn't just about staying current, it's about spotting trends and understanding where the technology is heading, which will inform your strategic thinking and career choices. Finally, actively seek out opportunities to apply these skills in the real world. In your MBA program, choose projects that allow you to leverage AI. In your internships and jobs, volunteer to lead AI-related initiatives. Be the person on your team who experiments with new AI tools and shares what you've learned. Position yourself as an AI translator, the person who can bridge the gap between the technical potential of AI and the practical business problems that need to be solved. By taking these concrete steps, you will not only build a future-proof skill set, but also position yourself as a leader in the most significant business transformation of our lifetime. We have journeyed through the landscape of a revolution, from the technical underpinnings of large language models to their sweeping applications across every business function. One truth has become undeniable. Generative AI is not a passing fad. It is a fundamental, permanent shift in how we work, think, and create value. For too long, conversations about AI were science fiction or the domain of computer scientists. That era is over. This technology is now a practical, accessible tool, a co-pilot ready to augment the capabilities of every knowledge worker from the intern to the CEO. Ignoring this reality is no longer viable. It is a declaration of professional obsolescence. Proficiency with generative AI is no longer optional. It is a core competency for modern leadership. Understand how to communicate with these models through effective prompting, how to critically evaluate their output, and how to integrate them into business workflows. We have seen these tools supercharge marketing, streamline operations, sharpen financial analysis, and augment the human aspects of leadership. Those who embrace this partnership will not just be more efficient, they will be more creative, more insightful, and more innovative, gaining a near insurmountable competitive advantage. This transformation brings challenges, from hallucinations to the ethical dilemmas of bias and questions of ownership. These are not reasons to shy away. They are a call to action for a new generation of leaders. We need thoughtful, ethically minded managers to navigate these complexities with wisdom and foresight, deploy AI responsibly, ensuring fairness, transparency, and a net positive impact on society. This requires technical literacy and deep humanistic judgment. a combination that will define the successful leader of tomorrow. MBA programs and corporate training that fail here do a grave disservice. They are graduating analog leaders into a digital world. The future of business education is AI-augmented learning where people learn with AI, not just about it. Cultivate a mindset of collaboration, not competition with technology. The co-pilot is in the cockpit. Your choice isn't whether to fly with it, but how well you learn to pilot together. Your career, and your organization's success, depends on it. As we stand at the dawn of this new era, it is easy to become mesmerized by the sheer power of the technology. We see an intelligence that can write, code, analyze at a scale that dwarfs human ability, and it's natural to feel a sense of unease or intimidation. However, the ultimate lesson of the AI revolution is not about the supremacy of the machine, but about the enduring and indeed elevated importance of the human. As we delegate more cognitive tasks to our digital co-pilots, the skills that make us uniquely human, our judgment, our creativity, our empathy, and our moral courage, become more valuable than ever before. The machine can generate 1,000 strategies, but it cannot feel which one is right. The future of leadership is not about being the smartest person in the room, but about being the wisest. It's about having the vision to ask the right questions, the critical thinking to challenge the AI's assumptions, and the emotional intelligence to lead a team of people through profound change. The AI can provide the data-driven what, but the human leader must provide the purpose-driven why. Your role shifts from being an executor of tasks to an architect of systems, an orchestrator of human and machine intelligence. This is a more challenging, more complex, and ultimately more rewarding form of leadership. Therefore, your action plan must be twofold. First, you must embrace the technology with urgency and curiosity. Get your hands dirty, practice your prompting skills, and become fluent in the language of AI. Build your technical literacy not to become a programmer, but to become an effective manager of technology. You cannot lead what you do not understand. This is your immediate homework, and the test will be administered every single day of your professional life from this moment forward. The learning curve is steep, but the cost of inaction is far steeper. But the second part of your plan is more profound. Double down on your humanity. While you are learning to talk to the machines, do not forget how to listen to people. Cultivate your empathy. Build your ability to communicate with nuance and inspiration. Strengthen your ethical compass. In a world awash with artificial content and analysis, authenticity, trust, and human connection will be the scarcest and most precious resources. The ultimate competitive advantage in the age of AI will not be a better algorithm, but a better, more human leader. The future is here. It's time to lead it.